Olivia Raines to what might be her best outing of her career, and she will have to be up to the task with that wind blowing about 20 miles an hour out to left. 6 home runs hit yesterday, including one by this star leadoff hitter in Tiare Jennings.
Yeah, Tiare Jennings gets things started. The sophomore second baseman, a .396 hitter. And Olivia Raines misfires with a 1-0 pitch. It is a 2-ball, no strike count. Jennings, Alo, Hansen, top third of the batting order to face Olivia Raines, who makes her first start today in almost 2 months. You got to go back to February 12th, a neutral site start against UTSA.
And with Raines, what you're going to see with that 4.75 ERA, she has 28 innings under her belt. 14 walks is certainly going to be the one number that we look at here. A very much down ball pitcher. Uses about 89% of her pitches between the changeup and the drop. There you see she can maybe cheat outside the corner with the curveball. Also adds a screw and a rise. But what Coach Brittany Miller told me a couple weeks ago is that if she can commit to the drop ball, that's her go-to pitch. She's going to create a lot of ground balls.
And it just misses outside, so Tiare Jennings is aboard to start the Oklahoma half of the first. And Jennings, you'd figure, would get a lot to hit with who's coming up right now for Oklahoma. And the day she had yesterday in the series opener, we're talking about the all-time home run leader in college softball history, Jocelyn Alo. And this stat almost staggers you a bit because of everything she's accomplished. It was her first career 3-home run game yesterday.
Oh, Chris, we were in line for an absolute treat. This was after Alo's walk in the first inning. I am going to go out there and anticipate that Olivia Raines and the entire pitching staff for the rest of the weekend, they're not going to give Jocelyn much to hit. In fact, Hope Troutwine, the starting pitcher today, tops in the nation in ERA, she tweeted out and said her third home run for Alo was the longest ball she had ever seen hit in her entire life, the one that was over the trees back in the 5th inning. And so with an early 2-0 count, it feels very Barry Bonds-esque for the home run king, now the home run queen on this side of things. Not sure we're going to see anything that Jocelyn can swing at here today.
Well, the count is 2-0. She does get something to swing at, and it's caught behind second.
Well,
Riley
there goes
Love.
that, right?
Yeah. Well, it was a pitch that she could square up, but it just didn't catch the right part of the barrel, and that is a massive first out for Texas Tech.
Well, it quite literally changes the entire approach for Olivia Raines here in this inning. If anything, it instills some confidence. Now, things don't get much easier, right? With Hansen here, the USA national team member, Taylon Snow, who smashed a couple home run chances yesterday, both robbed by Peyton Blythe. But nonetheless, a ground ball type of pitcher, you've got to catch her at the plate. Something in play could certainly drum up a couple outs.
Now, Kinsey Hansen, the Oklahoma catcher, a .359 hitter. The junior has 5 doubles, 4 homers, 15 batted in.
Same infield for Texas Tech as yesterday, with Orick and Love on the left side, Villa and Bailey on the right side, Grumbo behind home plate with Jackson, Blythe, and Armijo going left to right in the outfield.
There's a called strike. Raines levels the count 1-1. Tiare Jennings drew a walk to start the inning, and Raines fell behind the dangerous Jocelyn Alo 2-0 before she hit a soft line drive that was gloved by Riley Love, the Texas Tech shortstop. And now 1-1 strike count. Hansen back to Raines. They go to second for 1, and that's all they'll get. But they do cut down the speedy Jennings, and Olivia Raines has recorded a couple of outs without allowing a run in this top of the first inning.
Certainly a deep breath and a long exhale from Texas Tech fans there, because we've seen how badly the defense has cost this team sometimes this year. A couple errors yesterday, a couple mental blunders as well. But a good job by Love to just secure the 1 out, not try to do too much there, Chris. Had she maybe tried to force that double play, you never know where the throw goes. Olivia Raines, early, looking very smooth. The drop change combo is certainly keeping Oklahoma on their heels.
And could you imagine what a scoreless first would do for her confidence moving forward? 1-1 strike on Taylon Snow, the cleanup hitter, who went hitless in 3 at-bats yesterday. Remember, Oklahoma, they scored a run in the first without the benefit of a hit against yesterday's starter, Erna Carlin. There's 2 hit by pitches, 2 walks. There's a fly ball foul territory. Peyton Jackson on the move, and she watches it land out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, something that Coach Ward told us a couple weeks ago is that this team can use wind as a home field advantage at times, right? A team like Oklahoma certainly plays in wind as well. They had that game against Tulsa on Wednesday with about 25, 30 mile an hour gusts. A game that Oklahoma only had 1 extra base hit in and yet scored 9 runs. So the Sooners, they're ready for the task with this windy day.
Bounce softly to short. Riley Love gets rid of it quickly. And Olivia Raines turns in a scoreless top half of the first. And the Red Raiders will see the super senior out of Pflugerville, Texas. Hope Troutwine gets the start for Oklahoma. A graduate transfer from North Texas, where last season she was the Conference USA Pitcher of the Year. And her first one to Ariana Villa, the Texas Tech leadoff hitter, misses outside for ball 1.
Well, taking a look at this 5'11 super senior, of course, we've seen the Mean Green in action this season in Lubbock, and what Hope Troutwine's been able to do is really keep hitters guessing. The veteran in the circle, a veteran pitching coach in Jen Rocha, who came over from the University of Florida a few seasons ago, and what Coach Rocha said about Troutwine is she comes out with an mental fortitude that is hard to match at the plate. And already we're going to see a test as this home plate umpire today in DJ Postel hasn't quite given Troutwine that outside corner early to Villa. Really stupid numbers, though, Chris, when you take a look at Hope Troutwine.
I mean,
1 earned run in 54 innings.
Yeah, you're not exaggerating. A .13 earned run average, but she's fallen behind on Ariana Villa here. 3 balls, 1 strike. Last gave up an earned run in late February against Long Beach State. That is the only time she has been tagged for an earned run this season. Outside corner, and the count's full on Villa.
It's interesting, though, taking a look at Troutwine's game log this season, she's faced a lot of the opponents that aren't necessarily ranked, right? She came out last week against Baylor, a walk-off win, bailing her out with the victory in 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 run allowed. But it's something where Oklahoma's going to have to rely on Troutwine's reliability and durability this season because they're going to need her in bigger games. Taking a look at this season schedule, she's faced Utah and Baylor, the only 2 teams really of note on that list. Former LMU coach Sammy Ward, Troutwine shut down Loyola Marymount back in early February. But this could truly be the biggest test for Troutwine because of how Texas Tech offense has been clicking the last week.
Yeah, especially here at home. The Red Raiders have swung it well at Rocky Johnson. Peyton Jackson, Texas Tech's top hitter, went 0 for 2 in yesterday's series opening loss. Jackson, the highest batting average on the team. The junior out of Missouri City, Texas, a .375 hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike, 9 doubles, 3 triples, 4 homers, 15 batted in. On base average around .470, which means almost half the time she steps in the batter's box, she winds up somewhere on base. She's a big key in this weekend series for Texas Tech as Troutwine jumps ahead 1-2.
Really strong drop ball there. Troutwine's going to sit in the mid-60s, can get up there to 66, 67, and has your typical 5-pitch arsenal with the curve, rise, screw chop, and her favorite pitch, the off-speed, her changeup. Troutwine likes to go to nearly 100 strikeouts already. 99 now for Troutwine this season in just over 55 innings pitched.
Now she has struck out Villa and Jackson to open up this afternoon. 2 quick outs, and the base is empty for Carson Armijo, who had one of the 2 Texas Tech hits yesterday. Red Raiders had a lot of trouble, as everybody has had, with the excellent freshman Jordy Ball.
And you know, Chris, funny enough, you take a look at Troutwine's last 2 starts, a come-from-behind walk-off win against Baylor and a scoreless game into the 6th, a 2-0 win against UAB. So something about Troutwine in the circle keeps pitchers' duels in play, as we saw Rain shut him down in the top.
0-2. Oklahoma will send up Lyons, Coleman, and Boone come the top of the 2nd inning. And Armijo down swinging.
A little bit hotter today than it was yesterday, isn't it, Chris? About 15 degrees up from that mid-60s Friday into this low 80s Saturday. But a lot more wind, and it's blowing out to left, as I'm sure the Oklahoma bats are well aware of.
Yeah, a lot of sunblock was applied on before we walked up into the press box here. Grace Lyons, she had a couple home runs yesterday and sends a drive to deep right center, way back there and gone. Oh my goodness. That got out of here in a hurry. A laser beam over the fence, and top-ranked Oklahoma strikes first.
Yeah, a little bit of an airplane celebration. We saw that 6 times yesterday for the top-ranked Sooners. About an even 90 home runs here in game number 35 for OU this year. It's been a season filled of long balls for this high-flying offense.
And for Olivia Raines and Texas Tech, it's all about avoiding the big inning. Red Raiders trailed 5-0 after 4 yesterday before Oklahoma exploded for 6 runs in the 5th en route to the 11-0 run rule victory. 28 of the 34 in run rule fashion now. I mean, come on.
Yeah, just over 82%. But I think Oklahoma has proven that cliche, right? A one-run home run won't kill you.
Yeah, solos don't hurt you.
They hurt you when you play Oklahoma and they put together 5 or 6 solo home runs in a game.
Jada Coleman, the center fielder for the Sooners, 1 for 2 yesterday. Sooners had 11 runs on 9 hits in yesterday's ball game. We mentioned they scored their first run in the first inning without a hit yesterday. It's important not to gift any base runners to the Sooner team, as we saw.
That's where Raines has to live, Chris. She's got to sit on that outer drop screw combo away from the lefties. If she gets that call consistently, she can keep Oklahoma from cheating on the inner half. What we saw yesterday, the home runs by Jennings, the 3 by Allo, the 2 by Lyons, a lot of inner half pitches because Erna Carlin wasn't able to locate her curveballs away from the righties. But if against lefties, we see Raines able to find the zone on the outside corners, she can keep it away from the barrels. Another chance there. That same drop screw, right? A screwball, of course, goes away from the lefty from a right-handed pitcher. Curveball is going to come into the lefties. You're going to want to stay away from the inner half against a lot of these Oklahoma hitters. We see there a little extra wind and the dust picked up and created a malfunction in the gear up in the facial structure of Olivia there.
Working with the 2-2 count to Jada Coleman after a Grace Lyons home run to start the inning. They had a half swing. They appealed down and no swing. Wow. Full count.
Sometimes you need the call to take down Goliath early in these games. Of course, we don't have the best camera angle on that check swing, so no way for us to really know. But there seemed to be pretty certainty on the bat of Coleman, who was trying to run to first base, Chris.
That skied foul back into the crowd. Another great crowd on hand to watch the top-ranked Sooners, defending national champs. Since losing the first of 3 in Oklahoma City to Florida State last year, they have now won 36 in a row, including the first 34 games of this 2022 campaign. And that's ball 4. A great plate appearance put together by Jada Coleman. Winds up a walk.
Now you add the fastest player on the team on the base paths. Coleman stole base number 10 yesterday with that incredible swim slide. You remember that? A controversial reviewed play that stood on the side of the Sooners, and it adds a lot more for Coach Gasso, especially with a new bat in the lineup today with a speedy Boone. You can really get things moving and add chaos in the infield.
We did not see Riley Boone start yesterday. She did enter the game late. Pinch hit for Lindsey Elam in the 5th inning. And win around there, it's 0-1.
Should be a real test here for Olivia Raines to see how you can bounce back from what you think is a strikeout and now turns into a walk, still no outs, and we've seen how quickly Oklahoma can escalate innings.
Fouled back 0-2. Riley Boone finished 1 for 1 yesterday as a substitution late. Came around to score on the Jennings home run that kind of put the cherry on top for Oklahoma, put him in that run rule category, and they were able to record the final 3 outs in the home half of the 5th. Tap softly towards first. Ellie Bailey with the reach around and couldn't get her. Bailey arguing that Riley Boone had gone out of the baseline there, but that's the one base you can kind of take a twist around.
Yep, I was going to say that is such high softball IQ by the youngster in Boone. You are allowed to take as wide of a turn going towards second base as you want there. And if you're Ellie Bailey, now the umpires, of course, are going to review this, but I don't see a world where Oklahoma's not safe at first, because you can go as wide, you can go all the way in the grass if you want to and take a trot around the base paths.
Oh, if you're turning and trying to get to second, that's the best way to do it.
Let's see the review here.
And so Texas Tech being given an explanation.
A situation where Bailey needs to know that, and as a veteran first baseman, you just pick up the ball and you go to first base. You could probably get there before Boone because she has to take the wider turn. She can't take the direct route to first. She's got to take the local express. And instead of a strikeout and a ground out, Oklahoma finds their way on base, sets up a couple for Johns.
Johns was squaring to bunt, pulls it back. Now here's a key moment early in this game for Olivia Raines. After a scoreless first against the big hitters, and let's face it, they're all big hitters on this Oklahoma squad, but against the meat of the order, she was able to put up a 0 and kind of set the tone for her team. But here in the second, a home run from Lyons, the walk to Coleman, and now the infield base hit from Riley Boone, and that skips off the glove of the catcher, Grumbo, and got a piece of Jada Coleman on her way down to third. She'll get there safely. Riley Boone follows it up, and Oklahoma is in business with 2 in scoring position and nobody out.
So, Chris, I love this approach by Coach Gasso. I saw it on Wednesday when we were watching the film from the Tulsa game. A couple squeeze bunts against a Golden Hurricane team that Oklahoma probably could have beaten in their sleep, right? And now you see a situation here where, yes, Johns now can swing for herself, but they were willing to play small ball. They're playing for the 1 run here. And they're thinking, hey, we just want to win this game. We just want to win this series. We're not out here trying to beat everyone 10-0 with our huge swings.
And there will be situations later in the year, whether that be the Big 12, maybe when Oklahoma State and Oklahoma match up, or the postseason where the Sooners will be in a close game situation where they'll need to manufacture a run or two. And they've had some close games this year, but not many. Closest anybody's been against them was Utah, interestingly enough. 2-1 ball game. Oklahoma won. Had a pretty close game at home against Alabama Birmingham last week.
Baylor,
2-0.
walk-off.
So,
and of course that extra inning game against Tennessee. So they've been there. Obviously next weekend in Austin, right? Should be a tight one.
That's belted foul, and a full count now on Jana Johns. Mackenzie Donahue, the starting left fielder in this game, batting 9th for Oklahoma, is on deck. She may have a chance to come up with the bases loaded.
And this is just what these blue bloods do, right? No matter the sport, they lull you to sleep. They do things that are perfectly executed. That's an incredible change up there by Raines. But a situation where this inning might have been over, right? If you got that out on that tight call, instead Coleman walks. Then the ground ball, easy play at first, ruled a single for some reason, but infield single there on the speedy Boone's attempt to round first base. Then the pass ball, and now Oklahoma has a chance here with 2 in scoring position and just 1 out.
Mackenzie Donahue, and that's off the glove of Grumbo, but didn't scoot far away enough to where even Jada Coleman with her speed felt comfortable coming home. You almost wonder if Coleman's a little upset with herself, as that one took a while for Grumbo to get to. That may be the discussion between her and coach right now.
Didn't we see that a couple times in the first inning yesterday with Alo at third? And maybe that's just a spot where Oklahoma's saying, hey, we can drive in our runs with our bat. We don't need to create an injury scenario at home or maybe a momentum shifter where you can give a Texas Tech team a reason to celebrate with a play at the plate.
Yeah, you have to feel confident enough in these hitters to knock in the runners once they get on base. A 1-ball, 1-strike count to Donahue. She did not play yesterday in the series opener.
See the infield drawn in.
Strike 2. Raines jumps ahead. Donahue starting her 18th game this season. She has 11 hits and 43 at-bats. That's good for a .256 average with a home run and 14 RBIs. Top of the order to follow. Tiare Jennings is on deck. 1-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Another big punch out for Olivia Raines. 2 gone.
I'll tell you what, Chris. You know, you and I, we do all the home Texas Tech games this season, so we've seen the maturity and the growth of the pitching staff for the Red Raiders. Regardless of how this game finishes, this is a season-altering outing for Olivia Raines, who may have just propelled herself into the starting lineup as a starting pitcher.
Tiare Jennings after the first pitch. It's a foul ball.
And I think a lot of Red Raider fans, to that point, were surprised that Olivia Raines wasn't pitching every weekend. The Oklahoma transfer, the Gatorade Player of the Year a couple years ago. But I think Coach Ward was just waiting for her to find her groove. Raines had been pretty good in relief against North Texas, but since then it has not been a large sample size for this right-hander.
In on the hands, popped up. Abby Orick in foul territory, and Raines limits the damage. And a Grace Lyon solo shot. Now Texas Tech trailing for the first time this afternoon. Will come in bat in the bottom of the second inning. Hope Troutwine struck out the side in a perfect first frame, facing Ellie Bailey, Maddie Westmoreland, and Abby Orick, the middle of the Red Raider batting order in the home half of the second. Bailey in on the hands and caught. Diving play, Jana Johns, 1 out.
Oh my goodness, Johns. Well, that's one way to make up for a strikeout with second and third and no outs as Jana Johns begins the bottom of the second with more Webb gems. We saw Peyton Blythe pick up the big ones yesterday out in center field for Texas Tech. We're going to see Oklahoma certainly contending all season long for the best defense in the nation.
So a nice play made down at the hot corner by Johns. And now Maddie Westmoreland, who did not play in yesterday's opener, gets the start at DP. Riley Ellen has the afternoon off, and Red Raiders are hoping to recapture some of what Maddie Westmoreland did in the Big Ten.
Yeah, certainly a home run threat out in Bloomington when Maddie Westmoreland was named All-Region in 2018 and 2019. She stroked 10 home runs back in her freshman season, 8 long balls in 2019, a couple in that shortened 2020 year, and 2 last season. But this has been a little bit of a different awakening, a new location, just 1 home run this year for Westmoreland, a couple RBIs in 32 at-bats. But I like the idea by Coach Ward, right? You bring out the big bat. The wind, as you see that flag, we're going to keep mentioning it. It is blowing strong out to left field. And we know that if this power-hitting super senior can connect on one, how about this? Hope Troutwine has only allowed 1 home run in 56 innings this year.
Ahead of Westmoreland at 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the rise ball waved that and missed. 4 strikeouts already for Troutwine. And there are 2 gone in the Texas Tech second.
Well, for Hope Troutwine, she has gained confidence as this super senior season has gone on. Her first 10 outings, just picked up 8 strikeouts a couple times in a pair of 5-inning shutouts, a no-hitter against McNeese, a 1-hitter against UC San Diego. But in the month of March, Troutwine struck out 13 at Hawaii, 12 against Sam Houston, 13 in that complete game one hitter against Baylor 2 weekends ago. So the strikeout pitch has certainly been able to remedy itself here in conference play for Hope Troutwine, and she has gotten off to a hot start this afternoon.
Abby Orrick now, the Red Raider third baseman, with a foul ball to make it 1 ball, 1 strike. Orrick had the other Texas Tech hit along with Carson Armijo yesterday. It was a double to the gap in right center. You thought maybe Tech would have a chance to tack on an early run in the second inning, but Orrick on a throw back to second that scooted by into center field, tried to score, and a little hesitation there cost her. Got caught up in a rundown between third and home and was eventually tagged out. And that was about as close as Texas Tech got to the run column yesterday.
Well, her smash hit off the bottom of the wall after she struck out twice, both of them illegal pitches by Jordy Ball. It was a trip around the bases to remember for Orrick.
Yeah, a lot of strange happenings in yesterday's series opener. Alo's second of 3 home runs was initially ruled foul, and then upon a bigger discussion between the 3 umpires, it was ruled fair.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Patty Gasso effect on that one when she, and you know, a good veteran to rely on there down the third base line. If she thinks it's fair, usually it's probably going to be fair.
Orrick now has a full count with 2 outs. Top third of the Oklahoma batting order scheduled in the top of the third. Jennings, Alo leads off the next frame. That's why it was so big for Raines to get Jennings. And the Red Raiders have their first base runner with 2 outs as Orrick works the walk.
We saw the 3-ball count to start the game against Villa, and then Troutwine got into that groove with the strikeout to Villa. The strikeout, Jackson and Armijo went down on just 7 pitches. Bailey with soft contact to start this inning. So we really haven't seen Texas Tech barrel anything against this phenomenal season that's been put together by Troutwine this year. Bottom of the lineup, though, and that's been the offense this season for Texas Tech. They've been able to give the top of their lineup the reason why Villa has 22 RBIs, Jackson with 15, because Grumbo, Love, and Blythe have been able to reach. And in a reachable game, down just 1 run, the Red Raiders have to realize they're playing against just another set of opponents. That's what Coach Ward told us. You're not facing the national champs. You're not facing a 35-0 team, 34-0. You're facing college kids that are also softball players, and you got to realize that.
Now, Troutwine's fallen behind on Grumbo. 2 balls, no strikes. In the air, left center field. It drops for a base hit. Orrick on her way to third, and she's safe. Got around the tag.
Woo, what a slide that was. And were we going to see a second game in a row with a base running mistake by Abby Orrick? Very rarely do you run when the ball is in front of you. But Orrick needing to be aggressive. Grumbo heads up, trail running to catch up to get to second base on what might be a single, might be a double. It will be a single. Now with 2 on and 2 out. Certainly an interesting scenario here.
That's the Red Raiders' first hit. Molly Grumbo, the grad transfer from LMU, comes through. And now Riley Love, the shortstop. A big plate appearance. And Troutwine starts her with the strike. Troutwine has only allowed 1 earned run all year. Texas Tech has them at second and third with 2 outs. Riley Love fouls it back in a 0-2 hole. Just a 147 hitter.
This is where you need to really choke up, Chris. 2 strikes against a strikeout machine in Troutwine. Create the defense to make a play. An Oklahoma defense that has made their fair share of errors.
And struck her out swinging.
Well, Jeans, 2-3-4 due up for the 34-0 Sooners. You see that number 1 down in the scoreboard. Chris, Oklahoma haven't quite been able to score behind Hope Troutwine the last few weeks. Just one of those oddities here this season is Troutwine hasn't needed offense to produce her .13 ERA this year. As Alo pops one just off the home plate territory, and an easy 1-3 put out as Olivia Raines seems to have the number of our home run queen here today.
Yeah, after the 3 home runs yesterday, you thought Alo wouldn't get many in the strike zone today, but after falling behind 2-0, she induces the soft line out the first time and attacked Alo to start the inning, and that's what you want to do when Alo comes up without runners on base. You want to go right after her, and after hitting 3 much longer than that last piece of contact, that has to feel really good for Olivia Raines and Texas Tech.
And with Hansen coming to the plate, just 1 hit and 5 at-bats this series for Kinsey. Could you imagine, Chris, as Hansen strokes one, taking the wind with her. That one over the treetops. Oklahoma doubles it up here in the 3rd. Well, I was about to say, taking a tape measure to the Alo 3 home runs yesterday and combining that to her 2 outs today that have totaled maybe 70 feet total. And now Hansen, who had 3 ground outs and a pop out this weekend, she takes one up over 250. And the Sooners finally able to add 1 more piece of insurance behind Troutwine. Hansen's 5th home run, 16th RBI of the season. And Olivia Raines allows a solo shot in the 2nd and 1 in the 3rd now.
Hansen went hitless yesterday and hit into a fielder's choice her first time today. Joins everybody in the hit column this weekend in Lubbock, and there was absolutely no doubt about that one.
Home runs now in 29 of the 35 games. They've had 7 back-to-back jacks, including one yesterday between Jennings and Alo, as Taylon Snow certainly seeking redemption from the 2 robbed home runs out in center field from Peyton Blythe yesterday, as Raines is able to jump ahead 0-2 and see that Oklahoma dugout poised and prized. Defense playing straight up. The left-handed hitting first baseman today as Snow moves out from right field to the corner infield this afternoon.
You have to admire Olivia Raines. She hasn't wasted much time trying to get ahead of these hitters. Saw Erna Carlin, a lot of full counts yesterday, a lot of free passes, and that's to her benefit a lot, the freshman Carlin, but Olivia Raines, she's got the stuff where she can beat you by filling up the strike zone.
Snow, an Auburn transfer, played out in Alabama in 2018-2019, has hit over 320 in both of her Oklahoma seasons. Younger sister in Tannen plays now for Auburn. As Taylon looks to pick up her first hit of this series, was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning yesterday, as the count moves to 1-2 now from Raines. Olivia's thrown just over 40 pitches. And we've seen her stamina rise this season, 5 2/3 in relief in the opening loss to North Texas, as Raines again fields her position. That's her 2nd assist of this 3rd inning, 2 down.
And a lot of weak contact. You did have the 2 home runs. Lions got out of here in a hurry, and Hansen a more majestic shot in this 3rd inning, but Olivia Raines, you mentioned, kind of working downhill against these Oklahoma hitters. Outside of the 2 mistakes, not a ton of hard contact against this former Sooner.
Brings up somebody who's only had hard contact this weekend as Grace Lyons unfortunately gets plunked. That's the 2nd time that the shortstop for OU has been hit, sandwiched by the 3 solo home runs that she's hit. So that's one way to intentionally walk someone, now with 2 outs and Coleman coming up. Jada Coleman, pair of walks and a hit this weekend. She was the benefactor of that check swing call last inning and was stranded at 3rd with no outs. I'm sure regretful that she didn't race home on that wild pitch that we saw, as Raines misses on the screwball. A run in the 2nd, And a run in the third now for Oklahoma on a pair of solo shots. Home runs number 90 and 91 this year for OU. Best in the nation in RBIs, walks, average. We'll be here for a while if we went through all the accolades.
I mean, everything, right?
Everything. And the patience on display again as the count moves to 3-0, and Ellie Bailey looks to pick up second-year sophomore in Raines. And a 4-pitch walk follows the 2-out hit by pitch.
Yeah, Jada Coleman's now walked twice in the first few innings. Riley Boone, who made a high IQ decision to get out of an Ellie Bailey tag attempt, reached on a single. Her only time will come up with a couple on as Olivia will get a quick circle visit. And that's, look at that. I mean, kind of sending Grumbo away, and that's just a one-on-one conversation there about getting out of this inning and realizing that you're only down a couple runs. You're a bloop and a blast away.
Certainly, as Brittany Miller has experienced some of the best hitters in the nation. She was, of course, two-time Big Ten Pitcher of the Year. Her days in Iowa as a Hawkeye. Now facing another Midwest foe, and certainly trying to instill some confidence and maybe even tell Raines, Chris, that, hey, your stuff has been almost unhittable. Just a couple hits, an infield single, and 2 home runs, but you have truly hurt yourself. As Riley Boone, 1 for 1 today. Pinch ran late in yesterday's game. She's swinging at the first pitch. Weak contact, but just weak enough to pop inside the range of Blythe. Boone sneaks into second. Oklahoma leads 3-0.
Well, remember, the bases were clear with 2 outs. Lions hit by a pitch, the walk to Coleman, and you can't gift this Oklahoma team too many base runners, even towards the bottom of the order. There are no soft spots against these Sooner hitters, and Riley Boone given a chance to start this afternoon. 2 for 2, big run scoring single. Now Oklahoma has a chance to really create some separation.
Well, Riley Boone with 2 singles, a bloop, and a grounder to first, but her speed, her softball IQ in the instance of the second inning knock. Now an extra bit of speed at second base with Jana Johns, who's swinging for the fences, but Blythe in her sights makes the grab, and Oklahoma strikes another 1-out home run. Giving out some free foam softballs for all fans wearing camo in the attendance. As Blythe takes a healthy hack on 2-0.
Well, for Texas Tech, they need base runners to put the pressure on Troutwine. Had a chance in that second inning with runners at second and third, but Troutwine got the big strikeout of Riley Love to strand both of them. Peyton Blythe has been really good out of this 9 spot, getting on for the top of the order. She's a big reason why Ariana Villa is near Texas Tech's team lead in runs driven in.
Blythe has had her own sweet swings with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs for the slap-hitting lefty, who's ahead in the count 3-1. And a leadoff walk as Troutwine, who came into this game with just 13 walks in 56 innings, has now walked a pair and has put speed on the base paths. As Peyton Blythe has stolen all 8 bases she's attempted this year. Brings up Ariana Villa.
Batting for the Red Raiders, 0-0, Ariana Villa.
If you're wondering about Hanson behind home plate, she's only seen 7 stolen base attempts against, which is a remarkable number. She's thrown out 2 of those 7, despite starting just over 20 games. Couple pitches tickling the outside corner, and it's 1-1.
Now here's the chance for Texas Tech, right?
Certainly.
Top of the order, you're down 3 runs. You want to put the pressure on the Oklahoma bats by at least getting one of the runs back that you gave up in the top of the frame.
Coach Rocha comes out. Almost looks like a technique thing, doesn't it, right? Some mechanics that maybe the veteran pitching coach is seeing from Hope Troutwine after the walk to Blythe. She walked Oric last inning. Grumbo picked up a bloop single, pushed second and third, but the strikeout to Love got Troutwine out of any damage. You know, I got to work with Coach Rocha at University of Florida, and there's not many more furnished minds for softball pitching. Coach Gasso had been trying to poach her for a long time and was able to a few seasons ago. Led them to what was their 6th championship. As Troutwine misses off the outside corner, so continuing to try to nibble here. Ariana Villa, 287 hitter, 5 home runs, 22 RBIs. She's been the spark plug at the top of the lineup. Count evens up 2-2. Huge cut there by the left-handed hitting all-freshman member from a season ago. One thing Troutwine does well is get the ball to the plate quickly, which prevents any chance for Blythe to get a good jump as Villa goes down on strikes for the 2nd time. And there's one down here in the 3rd.
That's a big punch out. Ariana Villa can beat you in so many ways by getting on and running all around the infield. A couple strikeouts now of Villa and her 2 at-bats. Big first out for Troutwine, but the Red Raiders still have the likes of Peyton Jackson, Carson Armijo coming up. Chance to do some damage.
Jackson just seeking for her first comfortable at-bat of the weekend. She had just 2 plate appearances yesterday against Ball. Strikeout and a weak ground out to the pitcher. One of the hottest hitters on the team, batting just over .450 over the last 10 days. But right now, when Troutwine's able to locate, these Red Raiders bats have been flummoxed. Count evens up 1-1 here with 1 out. Peyton Blythe walked on 5 pitches. Now the junior left fielder continuing to swing at air. Maybe swing at some dust, and it's 1-2.
That rise has been so effective this afternoon for Troutwine. Gotten so many swings and misses. 6 punch outs already, and that's been her best 2-strike pitch for sure.
Armijo waiting on deck, and it's a called strike 3. Back-to-back Ks, now 7 on the game for Hope in the circle, as Peyton Jackson and Ariana Villa have gone down on strikes twice each. Now it's the UCLA transfer, trying to snap this skid at the top of the Texas Tech lineup. First cold strike 3 for Hope Troutwine today. As Villa's Armijo able to just make contact there. We're seeing a lot of weak contact. Just 1 ball put in fair territory thus far by Texas Tech. The single by Grumbo last inning. Down by 3. Red Raiders looking for a little bit of a rally with 2 outs. Ellie Bailey waiting on deck.
Now Bailey, who has swung it so well all year, especially at home. They'd love a chance for her to come up with a couple runners on in the 3rd, but Armijo needs to extend the frame.
Check swing, tips it up, pushes the count to 1-2.
Now pitch that just ran inside on Armijo. Not sure she intended to really go after it, but made some contact. And the difference between 2-1 and 1-2 against an arm like Troutwine, pretty big swing.
You can see Boone in right field shifted a bit towards the gap. And a screwball just tails a bit inside, evening the count. As Donahue, Jennings, Allo, 2 up in the top of the 4th. More havoc atop this Oklahoma lineup. Should Troutwine get 1 more strike. And the Curveball tails outside. Full count now as Blythe will be on the move. Chance for a ball in the gap. To potentially scrape across Tech's first run in conference play against Oklahoma since 2019. And it's a walk. They're going to check down the first base line, and Texas Tech has a pair for Ellie Bailey, the South Carolina transfer, Chris.
Yeah, this is who you want to have up with a couple ducks on the pond if you're Texas Tech. A couple walks worked by the Red Raiders, and look, you know, Daniel, against a pitcher like Troutwine and her resume, body of work this year, walks are as impressive as hits. Finding ways to get on base against her is equally as impressive as knocking one to the outfield against her. So now Ellie Bailey comes up, and remember the first time Bailey came to the plate, she sent a line drive tight to the line. Jana Johns made a terrific diving play. Not sure it would have been a fair ball. It appeared in foul territory, but Ellie Bailey, she's got quick hands. She can catch up to almost anything.
First pitch to Bailey is a check swing and a no swing, so the count 1-0 to the cleanup hitting first baseman transfer from the SEC, where she used to play over with Lindsey Elam. Or excuse me, with Jana Johns at SC, as the count moves to 2-0. Bailey, who has thrived here at home. Looking to put the first ball in play this inning as Troutwine continues to struggle to find the zone. It's now 3-0. Do have a slumping bat on deck in Maddie Westmoreland, though, with a base open technically. Nonetheless, this is the tying run, and it's always tough to put him on base. There's a strike on 3-0.
Even with Westmoreland struggling, she has proven time and time again in her college career that she can really get a hold of one, and she'd love an opportunity to put everything behind her with the bases loaded against this top-ranked Sooner bunch.
3-1 pitch, grounded fair, tapping the bag, Johns, and one South Carolina Gamecock transfer grounds out to the other.
Leading off the top of the fourth for the Sooners, number 12, Mackenzie Donahue.
Taking a look at Mackenzie Donahue here in the bottom of the Oklahoma lineup. 9-1-2 due up in the top of the fourth inning. Alongside Chris Sylvester, I'm Daniel Gilman. So happy to be with you on this Saturday afternoon in Lubbock, as we'll lace him up one more time tomorrow for a high noon first pitch. Maybe we'll see, another hit by pitch. The screwball continuing to elude Olivia Raines on the inner half. And now 2 innings in a row, plunking the foot. First Lyons, now Donahue.
That usually spells trouble at the top of the order to follow.
I was about to say, maybe we'll see Kendall Fritz tomorrow in the circle for Texas Tech. Maybe we see Erna Carlin again. Something that's so rare about Oklahoma is they truly do have a 3-pitcher staff. So often you see the Friday, Sunday swap for the aces. But Nicole May lined up, at least presumably, after her dominant appearance on Wednesday against Tulsa. But you never know, you could go back to ball. Series at Texas starts next weekend for OU, while Texas Tech travels to Iowa State, who is facing Oklahoma State this weekend. Tiare Jennings walked in the first, popped out in foul territory to strand a few in the second. Now she jumps ahead, evening the count there 1-1. Iowa State, in fact, leading Oklahoma State 2-1 right now in the sixth. A Cyclones offense that jumped all over Texas in the conference opener a couple weeks ago. Just to see Texas come back and walk it off as Jennings fouls it off, and it's 1-2. with the runner in Donahue on the move there.
Big 12 is tough, man. I mean, it's obviously a conference in softball that's been headlined by Texas, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State for years, but watch out for some of these teams like Iowa State, Texas Tech. Maybe make a little bit of noise in the conference season, and conference is going to look different in the future. We talked about that a little bit yesterday with Oklahoma and Texas eventually departing for the Southeastern Conference, but there are going to be some programs coming over from the American, and that could start to make some noise. Still going to have Oklahoma State here. I think it's going to be a conference that'll be okay.
Laced by Jennings, and that one got out in a hurry. Tiare Jennings picks up her second home run of the series. Oklahoma with another 2 spot, leading 5-0 here in the 4th. Back in Lubbock as Kendall Fritz, relief pitcher here. We apologize for a little bit of technical difficulties there. They're going to put Jocelyn Allo at first base here to start Kendall Fritz's outing. And Core is going to run at first for Allo. So the home run by Jennings. And now we see the Nevada transfer facing the meat of this OU lineup as Hansen, Snow, and Lyons all with no outs in the 4th. We saw Kinsey Hansen smash one deep and away gone last inning. Back when it was still a tight ball game, Chris, it was 2-0 Oklahoma.
Yeah, Texas Tech, they've had chances. They've had multiple innings here early against Troutwine with a couple base runners, but unfortunately couldn't take advantage of those opportunities.
You can hear the jeers from the home faithful or the road faithful. Diving play, Love. The flip is well late and flicks away from Villa. So Oklahoma will have 2 on after the fielder's choice. Still a great play by Love, but just a little bit too late on a great jump by the pinch runner Core.
There's a reason they put Core in the game. Give him a little more speed out there on the bases and a chance to extend the frame. Looks like we'll have another substitution here.
So Hansen will be run for as well. After the Allo single, Tariah Coleman will run at first with the pinch runner Core at second.
Plate for the Sooners, number 5, Taylon Snow.
And who is more due now than Taylon Snow, who thought she had a pair of long balls yesterday? Grounded out to the pitcher and grounded out to the shortstop today. A little bit of butcher boy action there by Snow as she fouls it off.
That will not rule that Hansen ground ball a base hit.
Yeah, fielder's choice.
I mean, that Riley Love had to stop to get it. That's not a routine play by any means.
You know, you're right.
Could be something that gets corrected after the fact.
Once Gasso gets a hold of that box score. A one pitch, good rise ball by Fritz. Count 0-2 now to the left-handed bat of Snow. Third batter faced by Kendall Fritz today. Chasing a bit of a high rise, and it's lifted out to foul territory as Jackson makes the grab for up number 1.
That's big first out, Daniel. Give up the Alo hit and the Hanson Hart hit ground ball. Now you get Taylon Snow out of that cleanup spot. Still got the double play ball in order, but Grace Lyons has kept things elevated in this series. She has now hit
Play for the Sooners, number 3.
7
Grace
home runs
Lyons.
over her last 6 games.
Top 10 in the nation in long balls, and has yet to be retired this weekend with 3 home runs and 2 hit by pitches. You see that massive left elbow guard for the All-American shortstop. 2 on, 1 out as Fritz misses high. Kendall Fritz, one of the harder throwers on the team, sitting around 65, 66 miles an hour. 4-pitch arsenal with the curve, rise, screw, and change. She had a great non-conference slate and has been absolutely crushed here in Big 12 season, removing her from the starting rotation this weekend. As a double steal, Love's tag is late. Good cover by the shortstop on that fake bunt, drawing in the third baseman, but the throw just up the left field line.
A great throw from Molly Grumbo, the Tech catcher. She put it right on the money, but such a tough situation there with Riley Love having to abandon her shortstop position to go cover. Just no chance to get that tag on in time.
Another chance now for Oklahoma, who stranded 2 in scoring position in the second and the third. We had second and third with no outs in the second, couldn't get a run. Second and third with 2 outs in the third. Johns flew out. I'm not sure you're going to give Lyons anything here, would you? Now a 3-1 count with an open base.
Not with the way she's been swinging it, although Jada Coleman has walked twice in this game. She's on deck. Kendall Fritz, should she issue a free pass here to Lyons with the open base, better be ready to go right after Jada Coleman, because she has shown supreme patience in this game.
Screwball tails inside, and the bases are loaded. I'll tell you what, this Oklahoma offense, for all of the fireworks, they do a phenomenal job just lulling you to sleep, don't they? They can take their softly hit singles like we saw with Alo. They can walk and move runners with the best of them. We saw Jada Coleman pick up an RBI walk in the first inning yesterday. Now she has the bases loaded. 0 for 0 with those 2 walks you mentioned. Fritz, needing strike 1, cannot locate. Slapped over the shortstop. The wall. We'll see if the Sooners can clean the bases. They will as Coleman drives in 3. OU's lead is 8-0, and look at the emotion. I'll let the Sooner faithful tell the story for you as Oklahoma finally delivers the big inning.
Well, that's the danger you run into when you put traffic on the bases. Not only can Sooner hitters quickly knock everybody in, but how about the lightning quick agility of Grace Lyons in the blink of an eye from first base to home.
And Boone swings at the first pitch, drives it deep to center. Not deep enough as Blythe spins. Watches Coleman tag up on the second out of the inning. And this puts Texas Tech in a precarious position should they get out of this inning with just 1 run in already. Tech would need to score. Could you hear that one? Let's go. We got church tomorrow.
Another game between these 2 tomorrow.
And it's Jana Johns.
Looks like Elam's going to grab a bat.
That's
and pinch
exactly,
it
you
for
see
her.
that captain. You know, I was looking at it. So Lindsey Elam will pinch hit for Johns, who was 0 for 2 today. Elam, after starting at first base yesterday, has had the afternoon off. She's aggressive. Hops one into short center, tails into the infield, and Love is there. As Maddie Westmoreland 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Able to make contact and finally test the defense, who has only been asked to make one line drive play, a diving catch by Johns at third. And mentioning John, she re-enters for Elam at third, while Hansen comes back in for Coleman. And there's one out here in the bottom of the fourth. It's been that kind of game. A couple grounders, a line drive to Johns, and everything else has been a strikeout. Abby Orick walked, stranded at third in the second. 2 innings in a row for Texas Tech with a pair on, but Hope Troutwine has been able to rise to the occasion this afternoon. Her ERA down to .12. As Orick takes one just a tad low, and it's 2-0. Big cut, popped into foul territory. And heads up play by a fan out there as the count moves to 2-1. Now, some jeering to give the ball to a kid, as they usually will. Abby Orick trying to lock back in, hit .276 this season with an even 10 doubles and 4 home runs. Now in a prime hitters count at 3-1. It's been a good baseball weekend for both of these sides as Orick takes the 5-pitch walk. Oklahoma took care of their rivals in OK State out in Stillwater yesterday, 8-7, while Texas Tech has bashed Kansas State. A big blowout lead right now. 3-run win yesterday over the Wildcats. Grumbo, who has the only hit of the game for Tech. A chance to at least extend the game for the time being. Of course, the 8-run rule, something that Oklahoma has been able to take advantage of now 28 times in 34 games. Thanks to another home run fest today. 3 long balls hit by Oklahoma after the 6 bashes yesterday. 1-1 the count to Grumbo. One and two now with a good secondary jump by Orick at first and Riley Love waiting on deck. Love had the biggest at-bat of the game thus far for Texas Tech. Down just 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning. Go-ahead run at second, tying run at third. And Troutwine was able to pick up the swinging strikeout to the all-freshman shortstop in Riley Love. 1-2, ripped up the middle, picked up nicely by Jennings. It's a 4-6-3 double play. Eighth double play turned by the Sooners this season. And that was nifty as all get up. And we head to the fifth, 8-0 OU.
Mackenzie Donahue has struck out and been hit by a pitch. And rips the first one from Fritz foul. Donahue, Jennings, and then Alo's spot, although she was pinch run for last time by Coor, so we'll see. I'd imagine Jocelyn.
I don't think Jossie's missing any at-bats this season,
I don't
Chris.
think so.
Not chasing more and more history every single time she comes to the batter's box.
That's elevated and hit in the air to deep left. Jackson to the wall, and it's foul.
You notice that Peyton Jackson went right to the foul line and made sure to kind of say, hey, that was to the left of me. After yesterday's reversal.
Yeah, Arlos hit 107 of them. I'd bet not too many have occurred in that type of fashion where it was originally ruled foul and then switched to fair. Without any review, by the way. They just had a conversation. Maybe one umpire had a better angle than the others. Off speed, high and away. Kendall Fritz came on in relief of the starter, Olivia Raines. Look, it wasn't a great outing from Raines by any means, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sammy Ward wants to put her in the circle again in some capacity tomorrow. I thought she fared much better than what else we've seen this weekend. She's been able to keep it down. Did get hurt with a couple of those home run balls, but hung in there. Only gave up 1 run through the first 2 innings. Tech had some chances at the plate, but Troutwine almost unhittable every time. Donahue pokes one down the left field side. And she has a leadoff double in the 5th.
Well, after just 1 extra base hit on Wednesday in the 9-0 win over Tulsa, all Oklahoma has done this weekend is pick up extra base hits, as Donahue picking up the 2nd double of the day, 3 home runs as well. This is an important run, right? I mean, you could talk about wins and losses, but if Oklahoma wants to prevent extra innings needed to be played, which is what every coach hopes for as they re-enter Jocelyn. Actually, excuse me, no, I think they're going to pinch hit for Jennings here.
Yeah, it's going to be Brito. We saw her yesterday. Alyssa Brito went 1 for 3.
But I was saying this is an insurance run, and you want to get across that 9th run just in case Texas Tech gets 1 in the bottom of the 5th. You feel like you can work with a little bit more leniency in the circle.
Brito takes the first one over the inside. That Mackenzie Donahue double, her first of the season. Brito down the left field side and foul. It's 0-2. Kendall Fritz, the Nevada transfer and all Mountain West pitcher. The ex-Wolfpack ace, also served as a late inning reliever from time to time at Nevada. Sammy Ward still trying to figure out where she'll be at her best in a Red Raider uniform. We've seen flashes of brilliance from Fritz, but she struggled against Big 12 hitters.
Yeah, 5 saves last year, in fact, Chris. 3rd in the nation in that category with her 21 games started. So Nevada certainly used Fritz as her workhorse, and Kendall came into this season with a very strong, but one of those bad luck losers kind of non-conference season for Fritz. An 11-7 record with a couple key wins against lower level mid-major programs here in the home schedule, but this could be the kind of outing for Kendall that snaps her back into form. And how about this? Runner at second, 1 out. You throwing anything to Allo here?
Sooners, number 78, Jocelyn Allo.
Well, Jocelyn Allo, no surprise that she has re-entered. A single her last time. She's 1 for 3 after the big 3 home run day yesterday, and gets under this one and watches it sail back into the crowd. Jocelyn Allo, the all-time home run leader. Hit 105, 106, and 107 yesterday. Nothing in 2. Kendall Fritz has pitched an inning and a third out of Texas Tech's bullpen. Giving up 3 hits, 3 runs. And strikeout of Brito, her first punch out. Oh, 2 pitch. Didn't miss by much, just outside. Not a bad spot on 0-2 to the dangerous Jocelyn Allo. Oklahoma's big inning in this one was the fourth. They scored 5 times. And it's 2-2.
You know, Chris, we've mentioned it, right? And obviously been proven wrong. Gotta love the mentality of Coach Ward. I'm sure she asked right before the game, hey, Olivia, how do you want to approach Jocelyn Alo? Well, Olivia Raines able to retire her both times that she faced her, and then just the first pitch single last time up against Fritz. Kendall showing no worry, no fear.
Ariana Villa in between her wickets, and Alo will reach on the error. Oklahoma has him at the corners now as Donahue moves up to third with 1 out. Kinsey Hansen, who homered back in the 3rd inning, will bat again for the Sooners.
Now I was about to say, kind of a tough decision, right, for Gasso. Do you run for Alo and take her out of the game? Of course, assuming that she won't get another at-bat. As Coach Miller is going to have to lock back in this defense. Just an unexcusable error there.
Yeah.
As tough as it gets.
Well, we talked how slim the margin for error is against this top-ranked Sooner club, and a routine ground ball from Alo, who doesn't hit too many routine ground balls. You have to throw her out, and Villa just couldn't field it cleanly. Had a weird spin on it because it was hit off the end of the bat. But you asked Ariana Villa, who's usually sure-handed over there at second. It's a play she definitely should have made, and instead of a runner at third and 2 outs, you have him at the corners with 1 out. And Hansen, who has struck the ball well a couple of times today.
But if you're Kendall Fritz, you think, hey, I just got Jocelyn Alo out. I just struck out Brito.
He should have had Alo out.
Right, but I'm saying from a pitcher's mentality, now you come out and you have to, every at-bat pretty much has to be, hey, the bases are empty, let's just get an out. Let's just get another out. Once again, you've got the catcher at the plate.
Oh, Villa able to recover and make a basket catch, battling the wind. And that's a big second out for Fritz.
And I was going to say, some might think, hey, if you drop that, it's not the end of the world, right? You just flip to second. But then you've got the runner at third, and Donahue creating a little bit of chaos. We talked about how important that run is at third for Oklahoma.
Well, there are 2 outs now. Taylon Snow, who has gone hitless in 3 at-bats in this game, will not bat for herself. Oklahoma will again summon a pinch hitter.
Place for the Sooners, number 21, Grace Green.
Grace Green, the senior, will bat. And she pops up the first pitch, foul territory. Grumbo is chasing, and it lands just in front of us behind the netting here.
We've seen this time after time, right, in the game of softball, when a team takes a big lead, everyone's trying to swing for the fences. Saw the pop-up by Hansen. A couple of harmless flyouts last inning.
Grace Green out of Oakdale, California. Chops it foul. It's 0-2. Green's 4th season with the Sooners, a career .356 hitter in her first 3 years at Oklahoma.
Yeah, I remember that big 2019 that Green had. I think she was an All-American.
She's 3 hits and 19 at-bats this season, and seeking her first hit since early March. A half swing at the rise, and it's 1-2. Did hit 2 home runs in the first couple weeks this season, but has since really struggled to have success swinging the bat. Getting a chance here late.
Yeah, both of those were pinch hit home runs, Chris. And this would be a big one. Give your pitcher in Troutwine a little bit more breathing room.
Deep left, it's on its way. Another pinch hit home run. Grace Green hits it out. Little deja vu, it's 11-0 Oklahoma.
And the unearned run comes in to haunt them. All 3 unearned, in fact, for Fritz.
Yeah, the inning should have been over. And that's why the margin for error is razor thin against this Sooner Ball Club. 11-0, Oklahoma leads after the 3-run home run. Of her 4 hits this year, 3 of them off the bat of Grace Green have left the ballpark, and the substitutions continue for the Sooners. Sophia Nugent, a freshman, has grabbed a bat.
So Lions will not have a chance to continue what has been an unbelievable series. I'm sure we'll see her again tomorrow, of course. She's the only player on this Oklahoma team to not be retired yet, with the 3 long balls. And how about that 4 spot, right? Taylon Snow couldn't get the home runs yesterday. Couple ground outs and a fly out today, but the pinch hitter in the 4 spot able to finally come through a ball that nobody could catch in the outfield.
Nugent pops it up, foul territory. Grumbo, oh, arms aren't long enough.
Chris, I'll tell you what, that's definitely in the bucket list, isn't it? To try to catch a pop-up from just behind home plate up here.
Dug out, last 2 game balls.
Sophia Nugent, a true freshman from Seal Beach in Southern California, has 2 hits and 10 at-bats, including a home run this year. Homered at Hawaii back in early March, and what a memorable trip that was when Alo, in front of friends and family, broke the record. Reached for and hit deep to right, but this one will stay in the ballpark. And the top of the 5th is over. Well, Texas Tech will have to score 4 runs to send this game to a 6th inning. Seems like a tall task against Troutwine, who's given up just 1 earned run all year. Riley Love gets it started for the Red Raiders in the home half of the 5th. This was the final score in yesterday's series opener. Could very well be the final score again in the middle game as Love pops it foul into the crowd. It is 0-2. Riley Love, a strikeout victim, her only time. That was a big plate appearance early in this game when Tech had runners at 2nd and 3rd, trailing 1-0 in the 2nd.
Certainly was. That was maybe the play of the game for Troutwine thus far. It hasn't been the cleanest of outings. No season high with 4 walks, and now a hit by pitch.
So the Red Raiders have a leadoff base runner to start this 5th, and on a 0-2 pitch, Riley Love is plunked. Peyton Blythe will come up. She walked her only time. You know, Daniel, Texas Tech isn't happy with anything short of a win, even against this Oklahoma squad, but you could just find the run column here in this 5th inning, even should the game end in run rule fashion. It's got to give you a little bit of juice going into the finale tomorrow, right?
Certainly, there are a couple things that I'm sure moving forward, Hope Troutwine will eventually allow an unearned run, but if you could be the first in conference play to get to her, at least moving into tomorrow, Chris, that's got to make you feel something. The fact that you haven't been left off the base paths as well. This is a Troutwine start that has been bumpy. 2 on in the 2nd, runner on in the 3rd, another 1 on in the 4th. Actually, 2 were on in the 3rd. Now you get a leadoff base runner in the 5th. Career high is only 4 walks for Troutwine, 5 walks, and that came against Texas back in 2020 as a member of North Texas. How about that nifty play behind home plate? You got Hansen back there. Lions did re-enter, as did Jennings, but Green took over at first base for Snow.
That's popped up. 1 out.
How about this fun fact for you, Chris? The outfield for Oklahoma has touched 1 ball today. The single by Grumbo. Incredible.
Red Raiders 0-0, Ariana Villa.
Troutwine has 7 strikeouts. She has issued 4 walks today and had only issued 13 in 55 innings coming in. So have to give credit to some of these Tech hitters working counts, being very patient. Sometimes that's the best approach against somebody like Troutwine, who has this electric of stuff, so to speak. A 1-0 to Villa, who struck out twice, and she lifts a high pop-up. That's not an easy play, and collision, but the catch made anyway. Johns and Hansen ran into each other, and the OU catcher, Hansen, holds on. Looks like everybody's all right, and Texas Tech down to their final out.
Well, the 5'11" Californian there certainly showed her size. We're going to be seeing her for years to come, wearing red, white, and blue behind home plate. Tell you what, there have been a couple very tall catchers representing for the United States recently. Of course, Aubrey Monroe. Got to talk about my Gator.
Yeah, you got to think about others that have come out of the SEC, like Savannah Jaquish out of LSU. Well, this seems like an interesting time to gather together. Maybe about that miscommunication.
I think it was also to make sure that everybody was feeling okay, especially Johns, who took the brunt of that collision. Not often do you see Gasso go out there to the circle, so it definitely wasn't a pitcher conversation.
No. Kind of to make sure, hey, let's not hurt each other. We're up 11-0 with an out or 2 to go. Well, Peyton Jackson, she'd like to get off the schneid this weekend. Went hitless yesterday, 0 for 2 with a couple punch-outs against Hope Troutwine in this one. The junior out of Missouri City has enjoyed a nice 2022 campaign swinging the bat. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. In the air, foul, and Tech down to their final strike. The finale of the series, will bring it to you tomorrow at high noon Central. Big 12 now on ESPN+. Oklahoma fans making some noise at Rocky Johnson. And the 2-strike pitch to Jackson, fouled away again. Ball went the distance yesterday. Troutwine on the verge of doing so this afternoon.
Well, things aren't going to get easier next weekend, as Iowa State just gave Oklahoma State their first loss in a 1-hit 3-1 win for the Cyclones, and that's where Texas Tech is heading.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes another 1-2 pitch to Peyton Jackson. In the air, right field, towards the foul line, and caught! What a play by Boone! Oklahoma is 35-0.
What an exclamation point. The best start in program history continues for the Sooners, who pick up their 29th run rule. And Chris, that's the first time that Riley Boone has touched the ball in the outfield today.
It's the only out in the outfield today. And Oklahoma fans have coined the slogan, "Hope is dope." And indeed, she was dope in West Texas today. Another shutout for the super senior, a 1-hitter. And it propels top-ranked Oklahoma to a 37th consecutive victory dating back to last season. The best start in program history continues, Daniel. They are 35-0 with the chance to sweep the series tomorrow.
Chris, once again, Oklahoma's showing ways to win without only relying on home runs. Now, yes, they did get their first and second runs of the game off of home runs, but it was small ball. A couple key hits, big double by Coleman to clean the bases, and then a massive pinch hit opportunity for Green, as OU does come through with another 4-home run day.